Most gardeners think their soil is depleted when plants stop performing, but that's not actually the problem. The minerals are usually still there. They're just locked up, inactive, and unavailable to your plants. And honestly, the biggest mistake people make is trying to fix that by adding more fertilizer on top of it. That's how you end up with soil that's overloaded, unbalanced, and still producing weak plants. I've seen this happen in backyard beds, containers, even controlled hydro setups where people try to push growth instead of fixing the system. Before you correct anything, you need to know what's going on in your soil right now. One tool that's made a big difference for me is a 4-in-1 soil meter that reads moisture, pH, temperature, and light. Because here's the issue. If your pH is off or your soil is too dry, minerals stay locked no matter what you add. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. It's honestly one of the easiest ways to avoid wasting time and inputs. Now let's get into what actually works, and why this rotation method changes everything. This is why your minerals are dead in the first place. Minerals don't disappear, they become unavailable. That happens when soil biology slows down, when pH drifts out of range, or when you keep planting the same crops over and over again. The system becomes one-sided. Certain nutrients get used heavily, others build up, and the balance that allows plants to access everything breaks down. I ran into this in one of my raised beds where I kept growing leafy greens back to back. At first it worked, then growth slowed, leaves got smaller, and even compost didn't fix it. That's when I stopped adding more and started rotating differently. Here's what the Amish-style rotation actually does differently. It's not just crop rotation for pest control. It's rotation designed to reactivate minerals. Instead of repeating plant families or focusing only on yield, this method cycles plants based on what they do to the soil. Some crops pull nutrients, others release them, and some actually help unlock minerals that are already there. In my beds, I started rotating deep-rooted crops, leafy crops, and soil-building plants in a specific sequence. Not randomly, and within one season I saw a shift. Plants that struggled before started growing stronger without adding extra fertilizer. This is the first shift that makes the biggest difference. Stop grouping plants by what you want to eat. Start grouping them by what they do to the soil. Deep-rooted crops like carrots or certain herbs pull minerals from lower layers and bring them up. When those plants break down, those minerals become available in the topsoil. Leafy greens, on the other hand, consume available nitrogen quickly, but don't contribute much back unless managed properly. Then you have soil builders, plants that feed microbial life and improve structure. When you rotate these intentionally, you're not just growing crops. You're managing nutrient flow. Now here's where most people get rotation completely wrong. They rotate crops, but they don't change soil conditions. If your soil is compacted, dry, or out of balance, rotation alone won't fix it. That's why I always combine rotation with light soil correction. After each crop cycle, I assess moisture and pH. If the soil is too dry, I correct that before planting the next crop. If pH is drifting, I adjust lightly, not aggressively. This is where that soil meter comes in again. It's not about guessing, it's about small corrections that keep the system working. There's a hidden layer to this rotation method that most people overlook. Root diversity. Different plants release different compounds into the soil through their roots. These compounds feed specific microbes, and those microbes are responsible for unlocking nutrients. When you grow the same type of plant repeatedly, you limit that diversity. In one of my container setups, I rotated from spinach to herbs to a legume-based plant. The difference in root behavior alone improved the soil texture and plant health in a way that compost alone never did. That's when I realized it's not just what you add to the soil, it's what grows in it. In a backyard bed, I'll start with a deep-rooted crop, something that breaks up the soil and accesses lower minerals. I switch to a leafy crop that uses what's now available near the surface. Sometimes that's a fast-growing plant that I cut and leave as mulch or something that feeds microbial life heavily. The key is the sequence. Each phase prepares the soil for the next. This is where the method starts to outperform fertilizers. Because you're not forcing nutrients into the system, you're unlocking what's already there. In one of my beds, I stopped adding fertilizer completely for a full cycle and relied only on rotation and light organic inputs. The yield didn't drop. It improved. That's when you know your soil is functioning properly. But there's one more step that makes this work faster. Rest periods. After a full rotation cycle, I let the bed rest briefly. Not empty, but undisturbed. No digging, no heavy inputs. Just moisture control and observation. This allows microbial populations to stabilize and nutrient cycles to balance out. Most gardeners skip this because they want constant production, but that short pause is what resets the system. Now let's talk about containers and small spaces, because this still applies. In containers, rotation is even more important because the system is limited. I rotate plant types, not just crops. After a heavy feeder, I switch to something lighter. Then I introduce a soil supporting phase with minimal disturbance. I also refresh small amounts of soil rather than replacing everything. That keeps the microbial life intact. And again, I monitor conditions closely. Containers shift faster, so small changes matter more. This is the part most modern gardening advice misses completely. You don't need more inputs. You need better cycles. So many people are stuck in a loop of adding fertilizers, compost, and amendments without addressing how their soil functions over time. Rotation fixes that. It brings balance back into the system, reactivates minerals, and reduces dependency on external inputs. If you're getting value from this, subscribe to the channel, because this is the kind of approach that actually changes how you grow. Your soil starts feeding your plants without constant intervention. Growth becomes more consistent, plants handle stress better, and you spend less time trying to fix problems that shouldn't exist in the first place. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens reliably. And once your soil reaches that point, everything becomes easier. At the end of the day, gardening isn't about adding more. It's about understanding how systems work and using that knowledge to your advantage. The Amish rotation approach works because it respects the natural flow of nutrients and biology. It doesn't force results. It builds them. Share this with someone who keeps struggling with depleted soil,